Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of From the Heart. I'm your host, Trca, and this is a podcast where we talk all things health, wellness, business, mindset, lifestyle, my faith, anything I'm walking through. I like to kind of take you guys along, give you advice, give you my wisdom, so you can learn from my mistakes, learn as you go, or not feel so alone and maybe something you're going through yourself. Today's topic is a little, not heavier, but it's going to be talking about self-doubt. I talked about fear a couple weeks ago, and I feel like it kind of inspired this episode this week on self-doubt because our mind is in control of so much. It's so powerful, our thoughts. And I've just seen it in myself. I've seen it in my friends and family, how detrimental self-doubt can be to our success and where God has us and where God is calling us to go in our life. So I want to just break it down, give you guys some advice. I made a post on Instagram today about this, and I feel like it really resonated with a lot of people. And I was like, you know what? This might be something I just make a whole podcast episode about because everyone was like, yo, I needed this today. So if you know anyone struggling with self-doubt, if you are, maybe even just reshare this to your story so someone who maybe is inclined to listen, because I want to encourage as many people as I can. That's why I have this podcast, is to help encourage you guys. And again, make you not feel so alone, because most of our problems, we're all going through them. I think that's the craziest, funniest thing about life, is we often feel alone in a lot of the things we go through. But by me sharing this stuff, it's crazy when I'm like, oh, yeah, it wasn't just me. It was almost everyone listening, hundreds of people, thousands of people. So we are going to be talking about when self-doubt creeps in and how to confront it, and walk in confidence. So it's going to be a good one. I'm excited. I don't even know where I want to start. I have some notes because I have some quotes that I saw that was they were fire. They were so good. But I guess self-doubt, essentially, I feel like most of you know what it is, but I just want to break it down in case you don't, or you have a confused perspective. A self-doubt is like the inner voice in your head, essentially, whispering any negative thought. Okay. Not any negative thought, but any thought where it's like, am I qualified for this? Who do I think I am? Am I good enough? Oh, I can't do that. It's anytime you're sitting there being like, oh, I've never done it. I've never been consistent. This isn't who I am. I wasn't raised this way. It's essentially you identifying as something that's opposed to the goal or to whatever you want to do. So for me, in reference, to give you guys a perspective, when I started doing long distance running, when I started running for half marathons, it was really, really important for me because I'd always claimed and identified with oh, I don't do long distance, because I was doubting my ability to do it. But the funny thing is, the only reason I couldn't do it is because I never had. That's all it was. I simply could not do something because I had never done it. When I gave myself a 12-week training plan and stuck to it, guess who could run 13 miles at the end? Me. Guess who was a long distance runner? Me. So often, if you just let that voice in your head stop you, it's going to stop you. Obviously, we believe the lies in our head so often, and that's where I really lean on God a lot recently, and He is why I find my confidence in Him, because I know in my mind when I have a negative thought, I'm like, well, duh, we can't do a lot of things on our own, but when we invite God into it, you can do virtually anything. I feel like we're just the strength that you have and the ability that you have is so much more enhanced when you invite God into it. And I learned that through running. I think that's why running is so special to me, because God has really worked in that area of my life. If you're a runner, you just know it's you and your thoughts, and that can make or that can break you. And it broke me a few times, but it taught me where do I go? Where do I let my mind wander to? And you have to find a place. This is a funny comparison, but Happy Gilmore, if you guys have watched the movies, I know a new one just came out on Netflix. But when he's golfing and he goes to his happy place, it's you have to find that. And it's not necessarily where his happy place is, but for me, it's it's in a worship song. It's in a prayer. It's talking to God. I literally, when I'm on long runs, I will play my same worship playlist over and over and over again, because if you've ever listened to a worship song, they start off slow and vibey, and sometimes I'm like, ooh, need something a little more upbeat. But then they get going and they get going, and I'm not even kidding you. I have my hands ow, I got my hands going up and down. I am worshiping as I run, and I just notice the energy I get from this song. If you've just ever been at like a worship night at your church, like, the energy, imagine having that while also having endorphins while running. You feel unstoppable. And I learned that through a whole journey with this like hills workout one time, because I used to listen to really secular, like hardcore music when I ran, and it always affected me negatively. And then my boyfriend now, he was just my friend at the time. He was like, yo, have you ever listened to worship music and prayed before your workouts? And I was like, no. Like, this was before I was like really saved. And I was like, no, I've never done that. Had my best workout of my life. It was like easy. I literally did the workout with ease. It was unreal. And I really lean in that now. And now I think about prayers in my head. I'll either pray for people, or I've had a lot of opportunities recently where I've had to like pray publicly. And so I kind of rehearse the prayer, or like I pray for the prayer, or I like think about what I'll say in the prayer. Like, for instance, Alora, my company, we're having a Bible study at our event this weekend, and I'm going to be leading it. And I was thinking about like the prayer I want to lead into it. So I'm just praying. I'm talking to God in advance, and kind of praying over that. And even in prayer, I just get like fired up. Like, that's my secret place, is when I run. And I'm not kidding you. It gives me like full body chills in the best way possible. I'm so powerful. I'm like literally sprinting. I don't know how to explain it, but like, it works. Yeah, just prayer in itself. Like, I'll pray over people, or I'll think about prayers. I get to pray over my brother and his wife at their wedding. Jake and I get to do that. And I'm so grateful, but I've been like thinking about like what I want to say, what I want to pray over. And I think about that when I run, and that's where I go. And that's where I let my mind go, rather than my old self when I was running. I'd be like, oh, this is hard. I've never run this far. I haven't run this far in a long time. My heart rate won't drop. Like, I can't do this. All the negative thoughts are quite literally like your input into your body, and then the output is like your ability to exert, that. And so when you're putting in all this negative stuff, like, why would I ever expect myself to be able to feel good running when I'm sitting here being like, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, my body's so heavy. Oh, I feel like I'm running with bricks in my feet. Oh, I'm out of breath. Oh, I'm hot. Oh, like, you have to control your mindset. It comes down to mindset. But maybe you're not a runner and that didn't really click with you. It's quite literally in any situation. And a lot of my self-doubt, or a lot of my anxiety, stems from my self-doubt, I've noticed. So if you're an anxious person, I think we all battle with like some level of anxiety for sure. And it can be debilitating though. It can be really debilitating, because most of the time when I have anxiety, it's because I have to put myself in a position I've never been. So there's an unknown. And when there's an unknown, there's technically not factual evidence created that like, I can't do this thing. So I get anxious because I'm like, can I handle it? Can I do it? Like, what? And this is in business. This is often in business, in my work. This is me at church, because my faith is new, and that I'll get like these new opportunities, or these new roles, or these new positions, or whatever it may be. And I'm like, so I question myself so heavily, because I'm like, oh, am I the right fit for this? Like, I don't know if I'm wise enough. I don't know if I'm in a position to do so. Like, because there are points where you need to have enough like wisdom to like lead somebody and be a disciple and whatever it may be. But I've noticed a lot of the times the enemy will get in my head, and he'll stop me, and he'll put all this doubt and worry and anxiety in my mind. And it's often before I'm walking through a door God has like opening for me. Like, God has it cracked with the enemy screaming in my head, and I want to just like shut it, because I'm nervous, because I'm like, I don't know what's on the other side. I don't know if I can handle that. But I've had to break it down and have a conversation with myself and be like, hey, God equips the called. He doesn't call the equipped. And I'm like, he wouldn't bring me to this if he couldn't get me through it. Like, God's with me going through this. It's not just me. But it gives me such a confidence, and it eases my anxiety and my worry, because I'm like, you know what? God wouldn't have opened this door. He wouldn't have given me this opportunity. He wouldn't have given me this invite. He wouldn't have given me the like gifts and the skills to, be able to do this. If he didn't want me to. And I'm like, if God wants me to do it, like, I'm doing it. And I feel called, and it gives me a confidence, like, I'm ready for this. And so you have to channel that different like voice in your head. But the enemy will really, really make him sound like self-doubt. And it sounds like you think you're putting these thoughts into your head, but it's the enemy. Okay. But essentially, like, self-doubt, I want you guys to understand, it's not just like a feeling, because it actually turns into like the narrative of your life. And it turns into your reality. So when you feed into this negative mindset and this doubtful mindset, all it's doing is creating your reality to believe it's true. And I think it's like a snowball effect, because once we start to doubt ourselves, and we don't do it, it's like, yeah, I couldn't have done that. Like, I'm glad I didn't do that, because we're trying to make ourselves feel better for avoiding it, whatever that may be. So you got an opportunity and you like shut it down because you're too nervous, too scared. For me, I'm very like introverted and shy. Well, I used to be, I'm like working on it, and I feel like I'm like growing out of that. But often I would like turn down opportunities and turn down invites because I was too scared to go on my own, because I didn't trust my own social skills to like handle it. Or it was always like, what if? Like, what if I'm alone? What if I'm awkward? What if I don't know what to say? Like, what if? But like, literally, there's never been a time where it's been so bad. I was like, I should not have gone. It's always been so good. I feel like when you feed into that narrative and you live it out, you'll make excuses to feel better, but then you'll continually do it because you're building that narrative to be true in your mind. So the next time you get an opportunity, it's like, oh, last time I didn't go, and thank God I didn't, so I'm not going to go again. And you continually do that, and it becomes your life. And you start to believe the narrative, and then you never grow into the person you're meant to grow into. And you miss out on so much life has to offer, because God can't like force you to do something. We have free will. But like, if he opens the door and you don't walk through it, like that's your own fault, you know? And so you have to be aware of that. But again, I'm sure you all have, I know everyone's experienced self-doubt. Again, it's probably in your career, in your fitness, in your calling, whatever it is. Like, it's easy to doubt yourself. But I think when you draw back to the root and you draw back to like your confidence and the fact that the Lord has brought you to that, it should give you a lot of confidence. And again, I have a whole episode on confidence. So if you struggle with that, listen to that, because I think it will definitely help. But next, I kind of want to go into a part where we talk about like, where's it stemming from? Because self-doubt stems from somewhere. It doesn't just like pop into your head too often. And if it did, and there was nothing it was stemmed to, like connected to, we wouldn't really believe it. Because it's like, well, why would I buy this narrative? Like, there's no truth behind it. But typically it's stemming from like a root of something. And so I'm a big person on like, let's look back a layer deeper, probably 10 layers deeper, to really understand why this is happening. Because we all experience feelings and thoughts, and you can just kind of experience them and brush them off and move by, and you're going to circle back and you're going to walk through that same thing in an hour, a day, a week, a year, whatever it may be. But if you don't go back the layers and figure out why this is happening, you're never going to put a stop to it. So if there is a negative emotion, there is a negative feeling, a negative thought that you continually reoccurring like experience on a reoccurring basis, you're probably not going deeper enough. Maybe you are going deep, but maybe you need to go another layer deeper. And that may be in prayer. That may be talking to like, you know, a mentor. That may be just sitting down and journaling out your thoughts and like really writing it out. But like, take yourself there, because it will move mountains in that area of your life. Because a lot of these self-doubts, there's a list of things I wrote down where it probably could stem from. One is like your childhood or early failures in life. So for me, I was always a shy kid. And it's so weird because when I think about it, people are so surprised when I say that. If you know me in your personal life, like, and you've seen me in big groups, it's probably like, okay, yeah, you are a little shy. But when I'm showing up in my career, it's different. But I always think back, and it's funny because when I say I'm shy, my mind literally draws this picture of me when I was a little kid. And it was me like at a little like a play date. And I was so shy. I was so scared to talk to like the adults, some of the people I didn't know. Like, I literally go back to that version of myself when I was literally 4 or 5 years old. And I'm like, no, that version of me was shy. Like, the 24-year-old version of me doesn't have to be shy. Like, I can let go of that narrative. Anyway, a lot of times too, it can be stemmed from the fear of failure or the fear of success, which a lot of people I don't think understand. I think we talk about the fear of failure often because high achievers, you know, we post everything online. It's like, if I say I'm going to do it, like, what happens if I say it and then I have nothing to show for it and I failed? One, if that is you, I consider you to think about what's the bigger failure, not even trying or trying and failing, because I think trying and failing is actually a success in itself because you can learn something from it. And it's like, you know what, at least I did it. And I know what I did wrong and I can take corrective action, pivot, try it again, and probably succeed the second time or the third time. But where I see a lot of people now that I'm like a young adult, I'm, you know, stepping into like a different season of my life and I'm meeting more people like in their careers and being self-employed, being entrepreneurial. I have a lot of entrepreneurial friends. That's a big word. And I've noticed and I'm at fault too of this, but I've noticed so many people fear success. And that might sound weird, but it's an unknown. And it's like we always fear the unknown because we don't know how to act. We can't prepare. We can't picture it. We don't know how we're going to react in that moment. Unexpected things. But we fear success. And some people fear success because it's another level deeper. And it's because they don't feel as if they're worthy enough, or they fear that they won't be able to handle the success, or they fear once they get the success, am I going to be able to maintain the success? That's a huge thing on social media. I've seen all these creators, they blew up and now they're at this position and they're in constant fear that it's going to be ripped away from them. That's where I've lived for a lot of years. And it's an unfortunate place to be because everyone else, probably not in the industry, maybe doesn't think about that, but that's definitely a very real thing social media content creators live through. Like, blow up and then you plateau, and then you're fearful of like, what if I can't maintain this? What if I start losing followers? What if no one cares about me? What if I become irrelevant? What if I get canceled? Like, you succeeded and you have this like dream that everyone, probably not everyone, but a lot of people, aspire to be. And you're out there and you're so miserable because you're so fearful of losing it. And so for me in these moments, this is where I bring God into it, and he literally heals everything. Like, once you meet God, you realize like he is the solution for quite literally every single problem in your life. But for me, when I fully like surrendered my career and I was like, you know what, God, it's in your hands. I've done what I want to do. And I trust you. If you keep me here, like, I will steward it the best that I can. And it gives me a fresh like approach to it every single day, because I really like, I appreciate it in a whole new way. Like, my social media, my career is not an ego-centered career anymore. It used to be. It definitely used to be. And I think most creators, it is that way. It's just kind of the nature of it, to be honest, unfortunately. But now it's like, since I surrendered it, God really shifted my heart posture. And again, if you're not a content creator, you're not on social media, this isn't your job, because I know that isn't necessarily very common. I think you can still relate if you got a job promotion or you're building a company, you're doing all these things. It's like you do it out of ego because you want to prove someone wrong. Maybe it's your dad, maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your ex, maybe it's your sibling, somebody in your life who probably told you never could. You're doing it for them. And it's like, no, like, actually don't do that. Do it for God. Don't even do it for yourself. Like, do it for God, and do it in a way to like honor him and build his kingdom and bring people closer to him and live in your calling. And that sets you on fire. Like, that's what literally gets me out of bed every day. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make a change. Like, God has put me in this position, and I'm going to steward it the best that I can for as long as I can, as long as he has me here. Because now that I've surrendered it, God can rip it at any time. And it's like, in my flesh, do I want that? Absolutely not. No, I love my job. I'm so passionate about it. And I do feel called to be in this position. I reflect on that a lot too. Like, I really am like, am I still supposed to be here? But God just shifted and pivoted my heart posture on it so much. But what I'm saying is, like, once I surrendered it to him, I no longer feared failure, and I no longer feared the success, because if I did something and it failed, not probably in God's will, or he's teaching me a lesson, it's intentional, it's purposeful, come back and I'll probably figure it out the second time. Fearing success, I don't fear anymore, because if for some reason it's not working out, I see it as a way of God pivoting me and putting me into something new that's actually meant for me even more. And I'll be even more, called to, and even more like joyful to be in and passionate about. So I feel like it gives you a lot of peace with that. And I really wanted to like lean into that, because it's real. I know a lot, like, you probably experience one or the other. Another thing it could be stemming from is probably the comparison trap, for sure. If you're doubting it, I know we can look at other people and be like, well, they can do it because X, Y, and Z. But it's like, I don't have that. I don't have that gift. I don't have that, whatever it is. I don't have the money they do. I don't have the community or the connections that they do or the network that they do. I don't live in the city that they do. And it's like, God has given you everything you need to succeed in that area, if that's where he has you called to. So like, never compare, because what your gifts are not somebody else's gifts, and their gifts are not yours for a reason. So it's like, we all have different callings. We all have different passions. We all have different end result. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, there's thousands of bajillions of creators online, but we can be even in the same niche, but we all have like our own unique, twist and gift and thing about us. It's like, you don't even most people on social media don't come up to me and they're like, oh, are you Chloe? It's like, oh, are you the girl who posts recipes? Oh, are you the girl who posts this? And they know me by what I do. And so it's like, God has given you a certain gift, a certain something. So carry that and steward that rather than comparing it to somebody else because you don't have that gift for a reason. Like, you're not meant to be known for that. You're meant to be known for what he's given you. And sometimes we don't look deep enough because we're stuck at that wall of comparison. We can't get past it to find like what those gifts inside of ourselves are because we're so focused on what we lack rather than having that positive mindset of like, what do I have, because we have all that we need. And then perfectionism and control is also another thing too. It kind of is similar to the fear of failure and I think the fear of control. But if you're a perfectionist, I'm not a perfectionist, so I actually don't relate to this, but I know a lot of people in my life who are, and they're and control freaks. I can be a little control freak-ish in certain areas. You doubt just because it's like, if I can't do it perfect, I don't want to do it at all. But it's like, that should not be the case because like in a business, they always say like, you really never know what you're doing, but you just got to dive in and figure it out as you go. That's my mantra on pretty much every single thing I do, because if I sit there and I try to have the perfect plan and the perfect, route to go and everything in place, I'm never going to do it because you're never going to have the perfect plan. And it's going to be debilitating and it's going to literally like paralyze you. Okay. So it's like, jump in and learn to swim, learn to figure it out. And that will get you where you want to go because it's at least moving the needle. It's one step forward and you'll learn as you go. I promise. You'll meet the people you need to meet. Like, God will handle it. He'll put in the connections. He'll provide the money. He'll provide the resources. He'll provide the wisdom. Like, he really will. So all that to say, essentially, when your identity is like tied to performance, approval, self-doubt is going to happen. You really have to tie it to like who God like has created you to be, and give it to him. And I feel like it will bring a lot of peace. The next thing I want to talk about is how it's probably holding you back. So we talked about like what it is and maybe where it's stemming from, but I kind of want to focus on really hammer in like why you got to get rid of this, like why it's holding you back. The first thing is self-doubt is enabling procrastination and delay, and you're just wasting time. Like I think we forget, and this is so cliche to say, but like I really don't think we understand that every single day is a gift. We are not promised tomorrow. We're not promised the next minute, the next second, the next hour. We are literally not. We take it for granted so much. I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of people do, or it takes like a catastrophic, terrible, just awful thing for them to realize that. And if you have this doubt, you're just delaying and procrastinating something that you're not even promised. It's like, it's funny because we're not promised the next day. So it's like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Like, what? You're banking on something that's not even guaranteed. So do it now. Do it when you're given the opportunity. Take advantage. It's only holding you back. It also, self-doubt will create inconsistency because consistency compounds. I literally put this on my Instagram story today. Consistency compounds. If you want to get better at running, the only thing you have to do is run consistently, and your endurance will improve. I have been running 5 miles at least once a week. I did it for like 3 weeks straight, and I was like, whoa, I did it for 3 weeks straight. Okay. And now I do it twice a week, every single week. And now I'm at to like almost 3 times a week, every single week. And consistency is compounding. My runs are getting so much easier. My mindset getting onto the treadmill to run is getting so much easier. It's not like, oh, can I do this? Consistency compounds. I'm creating evidence that I can. Okay. And that builds confidence because you're like, oh, I did it once, I can do it again. I always think back. It's funny when I'm running on a treadmill because it's so hot in Arizona right now. I refuse to run outside. It's miserable. Made me hate running last summer. So I'm like, we're not doing that again. I've learned to love the treadmill, to be honest. But when I'm running, it's so funny because I'll be running and you just watch 0.01, 0.02, 0.03. It slowly like increases and it's the same scenery. So you feel like you're not really moving. I have to take myself to a place and I literally envision my old running routes that I used to run all the time. And I know like exactly landmarks for your runner, you'll get it. But it's like, I know exactly where a half mile would be on this route. I know exactly where a mile is at in this route. I know exactly where 2 miles is at. And so when I have like 2 miles left of my run or I'm half a mile in, I literally picture myself on that sidewalk, in that area, in that exact moment. And I visualize it. And then I visualize myself like, oh, I just have this much further to go. And it helps because I've done it. And I have the evidence to prove that I can because I used to do it. So I envision myself doing it again because it seems a lot easier than something I've never done, like running 5 miles on the treadmill. Okay. Well, I have done that, but it's like, I don't know, the route system, the process of doing that, it really, really helps. But what I'm saying is inconsistency, should I say, is created by self-doubt, because when you're doubting, it's like, oh, can I do it? Can I not? Then you're not going to do it every time. And then that in turn affects your confidence and affects the evidence bank you've created, because it's like, well, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But if you just show up continuously for yourself in that area, self-doubt will go away, because it's like, oh, I literally can't do it. Like, you don't doubt yourself anymore. I know I can run 3 miles pretty much no matter what, because I've shown up and done it so many times that it's like the evidence is there. The consistency compounded enough for me to not have self-doubt in that area. So you got to show up and you got to stay disciplined and you got to let it compound and do it over and over and over again. And I swear over time, it just diminishes, because the evidence bank becomes so big that like the fear and the doubt is gone. And another thing self-doubt can do is it can stop you from like where like the opportunity ahead, essentially. So a lot of times too on social media, this is a huge thing. People are always scared to post the first video, but I think we forget every single creator who's like an influencer, a social media creator who's like successful in the business now first started with 0 followers, or maybe 60, or whatever they started in high school, like 2000. We all started with getting like very minimal views. Rarely do you just blow up instantly. Everyone had to like embarrassingly, quote unquote, like people think it's so embarrassing and like cringy to post. It's not. Like, if you like, the only way to become a creator is to post. We all had to go through that season, and people are just locked in this self-doubt, and it's stopping them from where they could go. And it's so silly when that's the only thing stopping you. If your dream is to literally be a creator and the only thing stopping you is that you're embarrassed, like, that's crazy. That's the most surface level. That doesn't even exist. Like, you create that narrative and you create that reality. Because if someone's making fun of you, it's genuinely to make themselves feel better, because they probably have that on their heart too as well to do. But by them making fun of you, it makes them feel better about not doing it themselves. Mic drop, period. Okay, so I feel like I just spoken to somebody there. Start posting your content, okay? It can help. Even if you don't want to be a social media creator, it can help your business. If you're self-employed, oh my gosh, the amount of businesses that have exploded and grown because of social media. Poppy, for example. They're existing because they blew up on social media. Same with Lonnie Nail. So many companies. Social media will change your life. Self-doubt I wrote this down. It says, self-doubt doesn't mean you're not capable. It means the enemy sees what you're capable of and wants to keep you stuck there. That's so good, okay? Like, I'm going to read that one more time just so you really can digest that. Self-doubt doesn't mean you're not capable. It means the enemy sees what you're capable of and he wants to keep you stuck. So when you're doubting heavily in something, I really think it's probably because you have such a call on it that the enemy's trying to get in your head and creates that self-doubt. Because God isn't putting doubt in your head. If God didn't want you there, if like that wasn't your calling, God would it's a different experience. It's not anxiety, it's not self-doubt, it's not fear, it's like a heart posture switch, being like, no, I just know that's not right for me. It's not right. Like, you just have a knowing and a peace about it. But if you're like anxious and uncomfortable, like in fear, I guess, if you're like living in fear and you're anxious, it's probably the enemy. So that means you should run towards that, actually, because that means there's a call for sure for you in that. Okay. Moving on. So how to overcome it. Okay. And we're going to wrap it up around here. Okay. So overcoming self-doubt, for me, it has a lot to do with my faith, obviously, if you've been listening, and also action, okay? So you have to understand truth over feelings. Feelings are fleeting. That's actually what I was going to make this episode about today, was feelings are fleeting, but this felt more important, and I'm really glad I went with this one, because you can tell I'm like passionate about this topic right now. But the reason I love reading my Bible, or if you guys have ever sat on a sister chat in Alora, it's crazy because I'm seeing God work in my heart and in my mind, because I can't quote scripture that well, but because I've read and I've sat through so many sermons and I've taken so many notes, there'll be a situation, somebody quite on the spot, I don't even know they're going to asks me for advice, and boom, I pull up my notes app and I'm like scrolling, and I'm like, I just talked about this in church, and I can quite literally repeat what I learned and give them so much advice and wisdom that isn't from me, but from God. And it's so cool. So reading your Bible and scripture is like a tool. It's like a tool belt, and it will change your life. Like, just reading it and having that as like a backup plan for when you're doubting. It's like, 2 Timothy 1:7, for God has not given us the spirit of fear or like you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Like you just have the scripture and it's like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And when I'm saying these things too, and I'm like, no, God is with you, you can do it. Like you should have confidence in that because you know the scriptures, you know it's truth. Rather than just being like, oh, I'll buy what she says. It's like you read it in the Bible and you've heard it and you know it. So get in your word for sure. The second thing you need to do to overcome self-doubt is to just take the pressure off. Like we put so much pressure on ourselves all the time. And it's like if you're taking action and you're moving the needle, it's like the pressure should be off because the rest of it is like the things you can't control. If you're controlling all that you can, then you're doing just enough because the things that you can't control, God's in control of, like timing. And when it's meant to happen, it will happen. So it's like take the pressure off like dates and expectations of all these things and just do it out of pure like enjoyment and be in the moment, be in the present, be in the process of it and really experience that because it will come over time. Another thing too, like if you're a perfectionist, like remember completing it is better than perfect. To be honest, like doing your best is great, but it's like if you're striving for perfection, you're never going to show up to that. Like it's never going to be done. And like getting it done is better than not getting it done. So it's like just do it. You can go back and make corrections. That's how I've always rolled. Also too, like obedience over outcome. I love that like idea and that concept because if you're obedient to where God has you, the outcome doesn't really matter because you know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and it takes that pressure off itself. And again, like I said, you don't have to have it all figured out right away. Like jump in, learn to swim. Don't know how to like you learn as you go. And then understand like small but bold moves. So be bold in what you do. But like it doesn't need to be this like huge extravagant thing. Like if you're doubting and it's like, oh, I can't go run a half marathon, go run 3 miles and then go run 3.5 and then go run 4. And those are bold moves because you're doing something you've never done before, but it's not just ripping a half marathon right away. It's little things that you can see belief in. Like you have to make it realistic and then you'll do it. And then it compounds. Like I said, you keep doing it. Next thing you know, you'll be running 13 miles. Confidence isn't found, it's built, and it's built with a relationship with God. So it's like, you've got to have that and then it compounds and it's built over time. Keep that in mind. But I just want you guys to know, okay, you're so much more capable than you think. And you're so much more ready and equipped and prepared than you probably think too, because doubt's going to creep in, but it doesn't need to take you out. Okay. Like I always tell like negative thoughts, go to hell. I talk about that a lot in here. It's kind of like a big thing. My friend Kayla, love her to death. That's one of the best things she ever taught me in my life was tell the thought to go to hell. And it just diminishes. I'm like, I rebuke it. If it's not from you, God, I don't want it. And I just gain this whole like come to and this like awareness and this confidence and this stillness in my thoughts. Because sometimes I think we can get like overwhelmed in our heads with all these doubts and these worries and these anxieties. It's like, what if? But it's like, go to hell. And they all just like clear out. And then I can just think clearly. But I really want you guys to just take a chance on yourself and understand, like I said, you're so much more equipped. I want to share some of the quotes that I posted on my Instagram today because they all align with this. The first one is, this one's more like physical about like fitness and stuff, but it says the body achieves what the mind believes. And so it's like, if you know in your mind, if you have evidence, if you have confidence walking into something of like, I can do it, you will do it. But if you walk in the reverse of being like, I can't do this, I've never done it, like, I don't know if I'm going to get to the finish line, like, I don't know if I can complete this workout, like, you probably won't, or it's going to be a lot harder to get there. Confidence is everything when it comes to performance. This one hit me. It says, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Doubt will stop more dreams than failing while going after it ever will. Because if you have a dream and you're attempting it and you're failing it, I promise you're probably getting back up, learning from it, and working towards it. Like the journey isn't just like from A to B. Like you don't just, boom, magically appear to the dream always. There's probably bumps, stumbles, falls, but you keep going. But if you let fear stop you, like you're never even going to start. So it's like, that's actually what's going to kill the dream. This is like a little analogy, and it says, you wouldn't plant a seed and then dig it up every few minutes to see if it'd grown. So why do you keep questioning yourself? It's like, you have to trust the process, okay? Give some stuff some time. Give it time to marinate. Give it time to grow roots. Things take time. Things don't just happen instantaneously. God can perform miracles for sure, but it's like, you got to water, you got to tend to it, you got to check on it. But like, you don't need to dig it up and check. It's like, just take care of it, nurture it, do what you know you need to do to get it to grow, and it will over time. And then don't let fear of what could happen make nothing happen. That's the what if mindset. Don't let the what if mindset like create a, it's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like it's paralyzing. The what if can be paralyzing because it's like, well, I'd rather just not know. I'm too scared. Don't. That's the worst. That's the worst. I feel like I have something on my hair. And then the last one is stop waiting to feel ready. It's a decision, not a feeling. Feelings are fleeting. Okay. Mel Robbins always says too, like feelings. Oh, next week I'll make probably an episode on feelings, but, Mel Robbins always talks about how you're never going to feel like it. So do it anyways, regardless of what it is. Like you're never going to wake up and feel like going to run 5 miles or waking up every morning, and you're not always going to feel like opening up your Bible and reading scripture. You're not always going to feel like making the healthier choice. You're not always going to feel like drinking water or taking the stairs or slowing down. Our feelings trick us, and really like, ooh, if we could just like think outside of our feelings and do outside of our feelings, we'd accomplish a lot more. But anyway, that was a longer episode than I thought it was going to be. I am really passionate about this topic. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did, because it's so real. I'm experiencing it. I'm walking through it. Like this is legit. So if you have a favorite thing from this episode, if you took something from it, message me. I want to hear from you guys. Like I said, send it to somebody you think that it could help. Share it to your story in hopes that maybe somebody's who's struggling with self-doubt can hear this. If you're encouraged, they probably will be too. But I just thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you guys so much. I love you, and we will chat next week. Bye, guys.